Today we are going to study put call parity. It's an equation which gives us relationship between price of a put option and a call option on the same underlying asset. And we are also going to assume that both these options have same strike price and same time to maturity. Okay, let me just write down what I said. So consider a European put option and European call option, both on the same underlying asset, and both having same strike price and same time to maturity, having the same values for T and K. Okay, then put call parity gives us a relationship between prices of these. So let me state the equation. The equation is C plus K e raised to minus RT is equal to P plus S naught. All these are usual notations. So C is price of the call option, P is price of the put option, S naught is the asset price at time 0, K is the strike price for both call and put options, and capital T is the expiry time for both call and put options, and R is risk-free rate of interest. So we have to prove this. So we will use the portfolio argument. So let me construct two portfolios. So portfolio A consists of one European call option and cash K raised to minus RT. Okay. And portfolio B consists of one European put option and one share. Okay, it's not its current share price, so it consists of one share. So we will argue that at time capital T, both these portfolios have equal worth, and hence at time 0 they should have the same worth. Otherwise there would be an arbitrage opportunity. We saw in the last lecture why portfolio worths should remain constant, because if there is a change you can maybe short sell one portfolio, buy another, and at some later time point sell the portfolio that you have and buy back the original portfolio that you short sold. So that creates an arbitrage opportunity. So hence let us try to see what happens at time capital T. So at capital T, again there are two possibilities. ST is less than K or ST is greater than K. Okay. So let us consider what would be the worths of the two portfolios under each of these scenarios. So portfolio A and B. Now in portfolio A we have one call option and cash K raised to minus RT. If ST is less than K, means if the market price of the asset is less than the strike price, then call option won't be exercised. However, since we are talking at capital T, the call option would expire. So C expires without exercise. And the cash K raised to minus RT now has accumulated to K. So portfolio worth is K. Okay. On the other hand, in portfolio B, what happens is, because market price is less than the strike price, put option would be exercised, because put option gives you right to sell at a larger price. So PE will be exercised. So that share would be sold, and share would be sold at price K. So the person gets cash K, and hence the portfolio worth becomes K. Okay. What happens when ST is greater than K? Because market price is more, here call option will be exercised. Call option will be exercised means cash K would be used to buy the share, to buy the asset, and once the asset is bought, we know its current worth means at time t its worth is capital ST. So the portfolio worth becomes ST because it now consists of 1 unit of asset or 1 share. Okay. On the other hand, put option will not be exercised because market price is more. So put option expires without exercise and you have 1 share whose worth is now ST. Okay. So you can see under both these scenarios, the worth of both the portfolios is same. So worth of portfolio A is same as worth of portfolio B at time t, and hence under no arbitrage assumption, the worths at time 0 must be same, and therefore we get this put call parity C plus K raised to minus RT equal to P plus S naught. Okay. So this is put call parity. As I said, you can create an arbitrage opportunity if the sign is inequality sign. Okay, if there is an inequality sign in between. So whichever portfolio is more expensive, you will short sell that portfolio, buy another, and so on. Okay. Now, in all these calculations, yesterday's as well as today's, we have been assuming that there are no dividend payments coming from the asset during the life of the option, that is between time 0 to capital T, and that there are no storage costs. If there are dividend payments or if there are storage costs, all our equations and inequalities would need to be adjusted for that. So like we saw in case of futures, all my S naughts would then be replaced by S naught minus D if D is present value of the dividends that are payable during 0 to capital T. Okay, or if there are costs, then S naught plus the cost, etc. Okay, so homework is try to see what happens if there are dividend payments during the life of the options. So include possibility of dividend payments during the life of the option. Okay. Now this is all about call option. Now this is all about European options. What about American options? Initially we said that because American options give you more flexibility, generally small c is less than or equal to capital C and small p is less than or equal to capital P. That is, American options are supposed to be more expensive because they offer you more flexibility. More flexibility because you can exercise the option at any time point between 0 to t. However, just because you have a choice doesn't mean that you are going to use that alternative. Okay, and it is especially true for call options. What happens in case of American call options when there are no dividend payments? So we are operating under the assumption that there are no dividend payments between 0 to t. So no dividend payments between 0 to t means you are not going to get any income between 0 to t by holding that share. Okay. So if suppose you decide that okay, at this time point you are going to exercise the option. So if suppose we decide that we are going to exercise the option at say this time point, which is in between 0 to capital T. Now what happens is the strike price remains the same whether you exercise here or here. So you will have to pay K rupees at this time point instead of at this time point. So the time value of money suggests that this is more expensive because If you are going to pay k rupees at later time point, it means you will have that amount with you for this entire duration and you will keep earning interest on it. Whereas if you want to spend k today, it means you are actually losing out on interest for this time period. Okay, so time value of money suggests that if you are going to pay same amount at one of the two time points, it is always better to do it at a later time point. That is one reason why exercising American call option early may not be a good choice. Okay, so one reason is time value of money. There is another reason also. See, when you have an option, you are slightly protected against the price movements. So if you have an option, if you have a call option with you, and if the share price falls below a certain threshold, you are still okay because you don't own a share, so you don't lose anything. You'll just lose whatever you paid initially for the option, which is a very small amount. On the other hand, if you exercise the option here, means now you buy the share, and after buying the share, now if the share price falls, then you lose your money because you spent k rupees here, and if the share price falls below k, then it's a loss for you. So holding on to option without exercising actually provides you insurance against the non-favorable price movements or decrease in price, to be precise. Hence, due to these two reasons, it is generally not optimal to exercise American call option early. It is generally better to either retain the option till time point t, or if you want to get rid of the option, then sell the option. Selling the option to someone else may be better. Okay. So because of this reasoning, capital C and small c are generally equal when there are no dividend payments. We are going to use this to derive put call parity for American options. Put call parity for American options actually consists of inequalities, two inequalities. So let me first state the inequality and then we will derive it. So for American options, now we are saying everything else is same, means we are going to again assume that we have one put option and one call option on the same underlying asset with same strike price, same time to maturity. So the put call parity says S0 minus K should be less than or equal to C minus P should be less than or equal to S0 minus K e raised to minus RT. Okay. Let me first try to derive this part of the inequality. From European put call parity, we know that C plus K e raised to minus RT is equal to S0 plus P. And just now we discussed that small c is equal to capital C. So C plus K e raised to minus RT is equal to S0 plus P. And put option, in case of put option, many a times for American put option, it may be optimal to exercise it early. So you have more choice. So small p is less than or equal to capital P. And now combining this with this, I get C minus P less than or equal to S0 minus K raised to minus RT. So this is the second part of the inequality. Now let me go to the first part. For proving first part, we will again go with the portfolio argument. So let us construct two portfolios. Portfolio A consisting of one share and one put option, American put option now. So worth of portfolio A at time 0 is S0 plus P, and portfolio B consists of one American call option and cash K. So worth of portfolio B is equal to C plus K. Okay, at time 0. We will try to see what is the relationship between their worths at time capital T, and under no arbitrage assumption, same relationship should hold at time 0. So again we have two possibilities, ST less than K, ST greater than K, and let us see what happens in portfolio A and portfolio B. So if ST is less than K, then in portfolio A I have put option. Put option will be exercised because I will try to sell at a higher rate. So PA will be exercised and the share that we own or the asset that we own would be sold at K and we get cash K. Okay, so S0 is gone because the share is sold, but for that S0 we get cash K. On the other hand, call option won't be exercised, but anyway it will expire, so it is no longer worth anything. And the cash K that we have has now become K e raised to plus RT, correct? Because that cash has earned interest, so it has become K e raised to RT. What happens when ST is greater than K? When ST is greater than K, put option won't be exercised because you can sell in market at a higher price. Put option won't be exercised, but it expires, so it is not worth anything now. And the share or the asset is now worth ST. Okay. On the other hand, in portfolio B, call option will be exercised. On the other hand, in portfolio B, call option will be exercised. So you have cash K e raised to minus RT, out of which you pay K to buy the share. Okay. So you have this much money left plus you get the share. So the share that you get is worth ST. Okay. Now you can clearly see that in both these cases portfolio B is worth more because e raised to RT is always going to be greater than 1 and this quantity is also always going to be positive. So portfolio worth at time T for portfolio B is more. So worth of portfolio B at time T is larger than or equal to worth of portfolio A at time T, and hence no arbitrage assumption tells me that it should happen even for time 0, and that's what is the first part of the American put call parity. Okay. So we have proved this. Again, homework is to try this when there are dividends. Okay. So let me stop here. Thank you.